Hey YouTubers, it's EMDSD14R and this is another layout update video. It is February the 18th, 2015. This layout update video is basically on some switches that I just recently added. Now if you guys remember from a previous video, maybe about a couple weeks ago, about the original switches that I had here, I think I mentioned about plans to replacing them with better crossovers that would enable me to have my passenger cars cross from track 2 to track 1 without the derailing issue. Well, I went to Nicholas Smith Trains and I was able to purchase well, I actually had them order them for me. These are the right turnout 867 millimeter 34 by 34 1/8 radius switches. I don't know why they say curved, but yeah. In order to get the crossovers this way, you have to order 2 right-hand switches, and then if you want the crossovers to go this way, you order 2 left-hand switches. So that's a little. I figured that out years ago. You're probably wondering what I did with the other switches. I basically took them and put them over here for another little siding, and you know, that's just temporary until I get the proper track. Now you're probably wondering, how did I install this? Well, the track that I originally had here, I actually had to cut some sections apart. As you guys can see, I had to cut some sections apart in order to get everything to fit right. Now Kato does sell the shorter tracks like this, and the shorter tracks, you know, that would actually make this look nicer. This track's actually going to get replaced because it works, but it needs to be replaced. But at the time when I got these switches, I just wanted to get them on the layout, wanted to get everything up and running, and I didn't have, you know, the money right then to buy the other switches or the other pieces of track. So I just said, well, you know what, I'm good with my, you know, trackling abilities and everything. I said I might as well just make my own track sections, you know, salvage parts from the switches over here, like the track connecting pins, and I modified the track, made sure everything was measured up correctly. Everything runs great. Let me do a demonstration of what the advantages with these switches are, because if you looked at my previous videos, you notice that I would never be able to have passenger cars go over those switches because the radius for them was just too tight. They were not designed for that. Let me just do this. This is one of my other view liners. I got 3 of these now, so I will be doing a layout video. And I actually body mounted the couplers on these, so they actually have KD long shank couplers on them. Now, this is the advantage with having these type of crossovers. Okay, that's the advantage right there. I would have never been able to do that with the previous crossover sections that I had in the video. Even with the long shank couplers, it wasn't feasible for that to happen. It wasn't feasible because the cars would always derail. But now, I don't know why my camera just did that, but now I'm able to run these cars like that without any problem. Now, I did test it out and it works perfectly. I need to get another MRC Tech 6 so I can power this main. That way, if I have 2 of them, I can seamlessly go from one main to the other, because when I have this controller on and this one on, even though I remove the connecting pins here, and I know Kato sells the track insulating sections for that, when I get this, I should be getting my income tax money soon. You know, when I get that back, I'll probably just, if I don't throw it into this other train I'm getting, I'll probably just go and buy the track sections brand new, and I'll get all that sorted out, and that'll be fine. But what I'm gonna do is, the issue I'm having is I can't have this power pack on and this power pack on, because when I have this power pack on, and even if they're both set up to run the train in the same direction, this one and this one they clash, so this one starts making a buzzing sound, and I don't want that to happen, so I don't actually run the train under power when I go through the crossovers like that. It actually worked one time, couple times I should say, but they both have to, but this one has to be DC. It has to be in DC mode, not DCC mode. It has to be in DC mode in order for that to work. But I will be getting this set up, and actually the way I'm looking at it is, if I really wanted to, I could put another one of these switches here. But this, to be all honest, this would be better set up on a 5x8. This is a 4x8 right now, and thank God I was able to make it work. Now I could also make it work if I were to go in here and cut these sections out and make it a little bit shorter, but I really don't want to do that. I want to leave these switches intact because I like the way they are. The angle that the cars run is prototypical, just like on the real one. You're not getting that binding. You're not getting that binding. I didn't have that switch thrown. You're not getting that binding between the cars here that you would normally do, that you normally have if it was those other switches. These cars would not go through the switches at all. So that's what my future plans are with that. Another update. Working on some of my freight cars that I need to get modified. The disadvantage with the Athearn coupler boxes is, and some people actually do this, they actually use like small 3/8 screws, and they drill out the coupler. They drill out the coupler holes, and they just leave the metal coupler tabs on there to hold the coupler on. I find that out, depending on which car it is, it works sometimes, but not all the time. You preferably want to do that on maybe grain cars, because they have a plastic bolster that you can just drill right through and put a longer screw in. But with these cars that have the weight that goes all the way to the ends, it's not really feasible to do that. So what I decided to do, and this is a test car, I've cut the weight down on both sides. I'm going to add styrene in here, and then I'm going to put Kato couplers in here. That will enable me to put the longer screw in, and I'll just be able to body mount the coupler right to the body of the car, rather than that. And I will be doing that on some other cars. Actually, that's a test car, but I actually had to do it on this box car because this bolster, the other coupler on this end was terrible, so I actually had to do that. And I haven't been able to test it yet, but I body mounted this one, and it works good. This one is going to be left alone, possibly. Left alone. If I decide to cut it, I will. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do with the box cars, flat cars, and gondolas. The grain cars, they shouldn't be a problem. Let's see. You guys know I'm a big Line fan, so I've been working on some of my Line box cars. Are all Tycos, of course, and they've all been renumbered, and not by decals. It was a really simple thing to renumber them. That's pretty much it with the layout update. I will be getting my next new trains video up and running, or we'll be getting it filmed for you guys to see, because I haven't been able to do that lately. But you guys will see what kind of new HO trains I got, and trucks. You already got a glimpse of them before in my previous layout update video, but I haven't been able to give any details on them yet. So yeah. Oh, and another project I'm going to be working on is this is my 5-axle transfer caboose. Started out with an Athearn car with a bay window caboose. It, didn't come out like I wanted it to. It really didn't function properly, so I'm going to try to rebuild that, try to salvage that. If not, I'll just build a new one from scratch and start over again. Alright, so oh yeah, and I got my flanger out. That's my custom flanger, the only flanger on the ER&W railroad. That's a home built flanger, people. Home built. using train and Matchbox car parts. Yep. And that, well, the blade is actually from the Matchbox trucks, the Oshkosh P-Series trucks. So yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this layout update video, and I will see you later. But I highly recommend getting these switches, even if it's a 4x8 layout. If you want your passenger cars to go from one main to the other, do not use these tighter radius switches unless you're putting a straight section of track from one or to the other, or if you do use them, and you, let's hypothetically say that's here, you put that switch here, then you put a curved section of track here, like a piece of flex track, you bring it up the middle, and then you cross it back over. You could do it that way. That's the only way that these smaller switches would work if you have a confined space on your layout. I could have did it that way, but I didn't. I like this way better. Alright, so you guys be cool, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.